Hello, this is a video about Purva Phalguni Nakshatra or Purva Phalguni lunar sign. It's number 11 in the wonderful 27 sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology that's based on the position of the moon against the background of the stars on the 27 days the moon takes to go round that background of stars, where the stars give a different energy to each portion. And so the nakshatra we're born under magnificently describes our emotional self, positive and negative, and the path we would need to take to purify and enhance our emotional self. It gives such a valid depiction of our emotions, our mind arising from our emotions, and our consciousness arising from mind and emotions. Our consciousness is based on the nakshatra depictions. It's so worthwhile studying. I do a worldwide course, www.nakshatrasadvancedcourse.com. And of course I cover nakshatras in my readings. My astrology readings are worldwide, as is the course. And the readings encompass Western and Vedic astrology. So let's look a little bit at Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. There's a blog associated which gives a bit more, and of course if you enroll on the course you get the full sharing, the detail, the wisdom. And part 2 of the course goes on to look at the very powerful interpretation techniques using the nakshatras, including for health and for love and relationships. So Purva Phalguni spans 13 degrees 20 to 26 degrees 40 of the Vedic sign of Leo, and its symbol is the front legs of the bed or the fireplace. So instantly we have eroticism, domesticated imagery with those symbols. And the deity is Bhagha, who's the god of conjugal bliss and prosperity and luck, and who brings fortune and marriage. And so deep within the ancient Vedic spirituality was the understanding that conjugal bliss and prosperity were part of the spiritual path. So the key words, and it gets important, especially if you have planets in this nakshatra, are love, sexuality, prosperity, lightheartedness, pleasure and creativity. It's a combination, ideally, of pleasure and happiness with spirituality. And translated, it's the former reddish one. And so basically it's depicting a sort of young pubescent girl in the full flower of her emerging sexuality. And so it's a sort of Sun-Venus combination. So Purva Phalguni people tend to be carefree, attractive, sensual, affectionate, sociable, kind, generous and loyal. But of course there's always a downside. And this is important. It's through experiencing and working with the downsides of our nakshatra characteristics that we can achieve perfection in our life and make the success and the special achievement we were born to achieve. So the downside of Purva Phalguni, well, artistic, lazy and vain, that's one. Needy in relationships. But there's also another sort of dimension to it, and that is it can be really quite sharp and fierce. You see, Venus, you just think of Venus, scintillating, bright fire in the heavens. You know, conjugal love has an extremely fierce, desirous edge, and that is something that can dominate a Purva Phalguni's life. So let's see, what else could I pick out? And these are the notes you get if you're doing my Nakshatra course. So favourable, it's good for inheritance, it's warm, sustaining and nourishing, with a love of music, dance and drama. Creative, but often without being active, creative through relaxation. I really like the sound of that. You know, beautiful ideas come to a Purva Phalguni as he's, you know, reading on the couch or whatever. And kindness and loyalty are their beautiful characteristics, but unfavourably. Remember, this Venus energy can be unfavourable, capable of being cruel. This is actually a naturally cruel nakshatra, and it can easily do ruthless acts because of its pleasure ethic. And it can be self-obsessive, which can make them quite cruel and unnerving to their children. They usually have children, but they're actually not very suited to the parental role. So we have vanity, narcissism and indulgence, lazy, vain and pompous, reckless, focused too much on getting what they want and building up debt. And comfort is their right. You have to remember that. And they get vindictive if hurt. Oh, but not in a totally confrontational manner, of course. So, okay, let's just, well, give you an example of what you can study on the course. Each nakshatra is divided into 4 quarters or padas. So the first pada of Purva Phalguni has a Leo energy. So these people have dignity and regality as well. But of course, negatively, their ego gets very heightened. So it's really good perception to study the nakshatras and to hear this. Develop your self-awareness, transform yourself, bring out the best in yourself, understand people so very much better. The second pada is Virgo pada, ruled by Mercury, and Venus, you see, doesn't get on well in Virgo. Virgo is actually Venus's sign of debilitation. And so if people have Venus in pada 2 of Purva Phalguni, they can be too critical about love and thus destroy love. So they need to really, really be aware of that and do something about it. The third pada is Libra. And this is what's called a Pushkara area. So like Chiron, the wounded healer, in fact, there's a wound to your planets here, but in the healing of the wound, you are guaranteed success. So in a reading or a course, we can look at that. And indeed, as with all my work, look at any healing modalities that might be appropriate. And the fourth pada of Purva Phalguni is Scorpio pada. So, of course, this is intensified emotions, strong passions and Martian spirit. And so if you have planets here, there can be a lot of unnecessary strife, a lot of unnecessary complexity. Scorpio can bring out the worst in anyone. But the Scorpio individual can also grow and so bring out the best. So, get in touch with me for a reading or a course. Deepen your connection with the nakshatras. They are supreme perception, supreme learning about yourself, supreme learning about others, supreme learning about life. I really can't rate them highly enough. Thank you.